When finding prospective tenants, do you have to provide a screening criteria form for tenants to acknowledge and sign? Let me answer that first, and then I'll get to the second question. It is advisable for you to do it. You're not required to do it, but if you deny an applicant who paid an application fee, you might have to refund that application fee. You won't have to refund that application fee if you've given them that search criteria up front and they've signed an acknowledgement that they have reviewed it before they submit a payment. What I tend to recommend to landlords is, before an applicant ever submits an application, have them review your written tenant criteria. That's going to turn off a lot of people who are just there to waste your time. They're looky-loos. They're not serious renters. So get past those guys. You only want the serious people, and so people who will pay the application fee and will likely fall within your search criteria are really the ones that you want to pay any mind to anyway. So yes, if you are charging an application fee and seeking to keep that even for denials, then you're going to want to disclose your criteria, and you want them to acknowledge it. It could be as simple as that being one of the pages of your application. And so before you ever go through the application, they will have read it, signed off on it, and approved this criteria, and essentially agree that they are subject to it. Landlords, as always, we welcome you to follow us on our Instagram page. If you're not a member yet, join us on Facebook. And if you enjoy what you see here, give us a thumbs up. Click that like button. We enjoy that very much. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. When denying a tenant, do you have to provide a reason for the denial? You do not, but you should document a reason in the event that you are ever challenged. You could generally say you did not meet our criteria, which they already reviewed and acknowledged if you had them sign off on it. If you don't, it's sometimes difficult to convince somebody that you had a search criteria or that you apply that criteria uniformly to all applicants. And so you sometimes leave even slightly open a window for a potential lawsuit. So don't do that to yourselves. If you're going to have a set criteria, apply it uniformly to all applicants, make it readily available even before people ever apply, and then upon application, have them sign off an acknowledgement that they are subject to this criteria. However, when you do turn down someone, you should turn them down in writing. And again, you don't have to specifically say what the cause was, but you can generally inform them that they failed to meet your search criteria. That's a good step that you can take, really just to cover your bases. Keep it very form-like, very general. After review of your application, we have found that you failed to meet our standard for our tenant criteria. Thank you so much for applying. Have a nice day. Yada, yada, done. Right? Don't make it complicated. Don't make it burdensome on yourself. And if they write to you to ask, I wouldn't be specific unless you've got just one, absolute, we were unable to prove your employment, for example, or your credit score was just too low. But otherwise, no, you're not required to give them a reason. You're also not required to give them anything in writing saying that they were denied. If you don't contact them within a certain amount of time, they're denied as a matter of, just as a matter of law. But it's helpful to do it just to close the door on any potential lawsuit as best you can. You're not going to prevent everything, but these kinds of lawsuits are rare. If you do give something in writing, then at the very least, you've shown diligence that the court will be able to review. And as long as you in your notes write down specifically what it was that turned you off, that's going to help you should you ever be called to prosecute a case like this.